There are 7 Dragon Ball characters who perfectly represent the 7 deadly sins, starting off with Wrath. Wrath is described as extreme or uncontrollable anger, and there is no other Dragon Ball character that better represents uncontrollable anger like Broly. On the surface, he appears to be a stable individual. He's not the sharpest tool in the box, but is also just an overall chill character who can befriend even cute furry alien animals such as Ba. But when harm is caused to those he loves or cares for, this all goes out the window and all hell is let loose, leading him into a state of uncontrollable anger. While gaining a tremendous amount of power through anger is nothing unique to Broly, given that we've seen it on Namek with Goku, for instance, snapping after Frieza killed his friend Krillin, or even Vegeta pummeling the god of destruction Beerus in his My Bulma moment. What makes Broly's wrath worthy of being classified as a sin is that while others manage to control theirs, his wrath consumes him to the point where the line between friend and foe is blurred. We see this in the Broly movie, where his father used a shock collar to prevent his anger from spiraling out of control. To some who sympathize with his character, this seems like an extreme measure. However, it was a necessary precaution, otherwise him and Pericles would have died a long time ago. If Pericles really let Broly pop off, he would have never been able to do anything about his son's wrath, which can escalate to the point that it requires a blue fusion from some of the strongest fighters to ever walk the Dragon Ball universe, Son Goku and Prince Vegeta. In this state, Broly becomes a threat to those he wishes to protect and even the universe itself, which was also witnessed during the clash against Gogeta, where reality literally shattered because of how bad he wanted Goku and Vegeta dead. But now, he is on Beerus' planet training to tame the beast inside of him, and hopefully he'll make steady improvements to gain control over his emotions. Which is something I sadly cannot say for the next candidate on this list, whose sin has such a grasp on him. He is willing to anger a god of destruction to avoid sharing his pudding. Gluttony is the overconsumption and overindulgence in something to the point of waste, and our candidate here is Fat Buu. At first, many people will point at Goku due to his excessive consumption of food to unreasonable proportions, and this is a valid take. After all, we've seen Goku even as a kid eat food worth all of Master Roshi's prize money for the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, which was 470,000 zennies. And even after eating so much food that the restaurant completely ran out, Goku still commented that everything is good in moderation. And I will admit that Goku has gotten worse since then, but he still doesn't beat Buu's eating tendencies, which truly take things to the next level. Because no matter who you are, Buu would never share his food, even if it meant his own death. Assisted by his transfiguration beam, Buu managed to turn an entire city of people into candy, inhale and swallow all of them at once. This is more impressive than Goku's eating feats because, according to Wikipedia, an average city contains at least 50,000 people going upwards, and since Buu left no victims alive, it would mean he casually ate 50,000 pieces of candy bare minimum and still continued on like nothing happened. This ability of his even allows him to defeat his opponents in truly tasty ways, like this demon right here who got turned into a giant chocolate, adding calories into Buu's bulking cycle. A truly chilling display of gluttony, if you ask me. Meanwhile, Buu has seen the biggest decline in terms of screen time. The same can't be said for Universe 7's God of Destruction, who despite making an appearance in every single arc, he does nothing of narrative significance whatsoever and sleeps for decades on end. He is our candidate for Sloth. Sloth, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is the unwillingness to work or make any effort, basically laziness. The role of a god of destruction is to maintain balance by eradicating life and civilizations that threaten the natural order of the universe. They possess immense power, unrivaled by any mortal, with only a few exceptions like Jiren, and it aids them to carry out their duty with ease. Yet despite this, Beerus is constantly avoiding his responsibility of eradicating beings like Moro, who are responsible for serious offenses. Moro, according to this Galactic Patrol officer, is responsible for the mass destruction of the Iraqi star system and mass extinction on 320 planets. Yet Beerus still did nothing, causing the Grand Supreme Kai to have to do his job for him by stopping Moro and have him be arrested by the Galactic Patrol. Beerus was still in his 39-year slumber during the Buu saga, wherein the Supreme Kai had to step in and try to eradicate Buu by himself, which almost led to his own demise unknowingly. But as usual, Goku and Vegeta do his job for him, resulting in an epic clash that decided the fate of the universe. Or how about the fact that Beerus allows Frieza to do as he pleases in his own universe? And just to refresh your mind, Frieza literally runs a business of killing off entire races of aliens to sell their planet to other alien races who are looking for a new home, which is something that I explain in detail in this video right here, so check it out if you haven't. Letting all of these things slip caused the mortal levels in Universe 7 to take a serious nosedive. It's to the point where the Supreme Kai basically confirmed that there are 28 planets with life on them, and given how large the universe is, that is totally unacceptable. It was only recently when his actions finally caught up to him, as Universe 7 was revealed by the Grand Priest to have such a low mortal level. It is the second worst universe out of the 12, placing not just himself on the chopping block at the hands of the Omni Kings during the Tournament of Power, but his entire universe as well. And again, Goku and Vegeta had to come in and save him and his universe from demise. And at that point, you would assume that would be his wake-up call. But it gets even worse when Moro is released, because he states that he likes planet busters like Moro because they do his job for him, which is something that further proves how lazy he is, and ultimately leaving Goku and Vegeta to kill Moro for him. Now, while Beerus is content with the position he's in, our next candidate is not. Greed is defined as an insatiable desire for material gain or social value, such as status or power. And this perfectly describes the position that Frieza finds himself in. For the majority of his life, Frieza had everything handed to him: unparalleled power, wealth, fame, influence, respect, and having his name be feared across the entire universe. Yet despite still having all the things that a man could desire, he's still not satisfied. For as long as there are forces that exist that are greater than him, he won't stop climbing. He wants more power, more control. In his mind, all must bow down to the mighty Lord Frieza. And there are two specific scenes in the anime that perfectly put Frieza's greed on display.
The universe at stake is the perfect opportunity for me to manipulate even the all-powerful gods. In the end, I'll be the one who laughs last. You don't get to have everything go your way forever, Beerus.
あのカラフルおちびちゃんたち、声の可愛さとやってることのエグさのギャップが実に不愉快です。いつか必ずあなたたちの上に君臨して差し上げますよ。
And it seems now that he has attained his black form, Frieza might be getting closer to accomplishing the first phase of his plan, which is eliminating Beerus. And if he manages to succeed, he could move on to the next phase of his plan, to overthrow the Omni Kings and establish himself as the one true ruler of the entire multiverse. Moving on to our next key sin, we have lust, a sin simply defined as a strong sexual desire. While all of us do experience lust, there are some others like Master Roshi who let this deadly sin consume them to the point that is beyond reason. Master Roshi has quite a bad reputation amongst the fans of this series because of his overly perverted nature. The first time we got introduced to this old pervert, he shamelessly asked a 16-year-old girl, that being Bulma, to show him her underwear. And in the most explicit scene in the entire series, Bulma accidentally flashed Roshi, revealing more than she intended. This is legit pedophile behavior, and when it comes to this dirty old man, that is just scratching the tip of the iceberg. We all know that both Goku and Krillin got trained by Master Roshi when they were younger. But in order to get there, two different paths were taken. For Goku, he had to prove himself to the Turtle Hermit as strong, and by virtue of being raised by Grandpa Gohan, which is someone Master Roshi knew, he was able to train him. However, all Krillin had to do was just bring Master Roshi a bunch of magazines filled with adult content, and Master Roshi was sold. But that's not all, because after Bulma created a shrinking device that would allow her to decrease her size to travel alongside Goku with the flying Nimbus, Bulma ends up trading this device with Master Roshi for a submarine. And literally, minutes after that, Bulma goes to the toilet and Roshi shrinks himself, follows her there and attempts to spy on her in the toilet, but fails in doing so and ends up getting flushed instead. However, Roshi is not the only one who let his sin consume him to the fullest, because we have our next candidate, King Vegeta, a man who, due to envy, committed a despicable act. In Saiyan society, strength is all that matters. Those who prove to be exceptional receive all the fame, glory, and status. So, it is not surprising that upon figuring out that the child of a commoner had latent abilities far surpassing that of the prince, he felt envious. In his eyes, his son Vegeta was destined to be the strongest Saiyan that has ever lived, one that will usher in a dawn of a new era, an era where Saiyans are no longer in servitude to Frieza, an era of hope where the mighty Saiyan race rules the universe under the reign of his son as the new king of the Saiyans. However, the existence of Broly posed a threat to all of that. So in order to eliminate the possibility of there being a Saiyan that outshines his son, he sends him off on a spaceship to a barren planet devoid of intelligent life and modern civilization, effectively sealing Broly's fate, ensuring that he would die alone and fade into history as though he never existed. But thanks to Pericus, who gave up his life to save his son, Broly is still alive and well, training on Beerus' planet, while King Vegeta paid the ultimate price for his deadly sin. While other characters we've discussed so far have never acknowledged or proudly accepted their sin as part of them, there's one character known as Prince Vegeta who has not only embraced their deadly sin but proudly declares it as his way of life, and that sin is pride. With pride being described as a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. It is no surprise that Vegeta's pride comes from the fact that he was born as a Saiyan elite, and so because of this, he believes he's destined for greatness. It is fueled by strength and seeing himself above others in this regard. However, his pride often turns into arrogance, causing him to underestimate his opponents, which in most cases results in humiliating defeats for the prince. A great example is in his fight against Goku in the Saiyan saga, where he saw Goku as his lesser due to his status as being a low-class Saiyan. But not only did he get proven wrong, he almost lost his life that day, a life spared by the very same person he perceived as low-class trash. His pride has also caused him pain mentally and physically, like when he allowed Cell to absorb Android 18 just because he wanted to prove a point to his opponent. But as we all know, that didn't go his way, and so he was punished for his pride. The icing on the cake was when Gohan surpassed him in the Cell saga, succeeding where he failed, causing him to become bitter. Bitterness which would all become apparent and bled out in his fight against Goku in the Buu saga. But on the other hand, Vegeta's pride is why we love him so much. It has pushed him to become one of the strongest fighters to ever exist in Dragon Ball. Because of his pride, he refuses to let Kakarot stay ahead of him. He refuses to give up in battle because no matter what, there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps, and that's his pride.